Welcome, Chief.
Good evening, Council President and members of Council. I really appreciate the opportunity to come and speak before this forum tonight, and I really wasn't sure what I was going to talk about tonight as I come before you, but anyone who knows me knows that I'm not here to talk about myself. One of the things I was thinking about as I was coming here tonight was, why would my mother come before you all and speak on my behalf when I expressly asked her not to? Then I had to think about it. See, I was born on November 27, 1963, which was exactly 98 days after Martin Luther King's march on Washington, August 28, 1963. So as I thought about my mother carrying me, and I'm not crying about my job, I'm crying about how my mother felt as she listened to Dr. King's words in that speech, and how he talked about this dream, a dream that was pretty simple and basic, a dream about equality and justice. And I could just imagine my mother living in a time that she lived in, not being a beneficiary of that equality and justice. And I can imagine her dream was simply that I could live in a world one day where there was equality and justice. And the worst thing that you can do to a person is kill their dream. And that's what was done to my mother, and that's what hurts me the most. Not this job. I care less about that. I care about my family and what's been done to them. And, you know, I wish I had more time to speak, because I want to talk about the other employees who may be working in fear. That's what I'm concerned about. I don't want them to have to worry about being mistreated if they have to question how they're being treated. Thank you.
Councilwoman Myers.
Yes, I just wanted to speak to Mr. Glover.
Mr. Glover? Mr. Glover, can you please come back? I shouldn't have let you leave. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to say to you how deeply I appreciate your service to the city and to this country. And you have a commitment for me as long as I live on the face of this earth. I am keeping the dream alive.
Go, Sherry.
That has been my life's mission, all of my life. We are not going to let the dream that Martin Luther King and millions of others fought for die. And we're not going to let your mother's dream and your dream die either. Thank you.
I can't let you sit down yet either. You know, your comments, when you made a comment about your mother, you know, I sat here and watched your mother speak on your behalf, and I lost my mother in 2010. You know, I lost a mayoral election, I lost my mother, I lost my closest aunt, all within about a week. That was a rough week. And my mom had fought cancer for years. But when you said that, you know, you asked your mother not to come, my mother would have done the same thing. You know, I mean, my mother would have been here talking, trying to talk some sense into the council and defending her son. And, you know, that tells me a lot about you. And I've already known a lot about you, and I have great respect for you. Your service in the military, my dad was Air Force. He was a career guy. I was Army. You know, I didn't serve a full career. I was in the reserves like you. I know what it's like to balance the work that you do, and especially in the work that you do defending the people, you know, worldwide, and then also being back here and helping to keep us safe. And, you know, public safety is the #1 thing this city does. And I am a firm believer that we don't put enough resources into public safety. And the challenges that you face dealing with personnel and I guess the significance and the seriousness of what the people that work for you do makes your job much more difficult than some within our city. Everyone's important, but the fire department has a real challenge dealing with so many things within our community. And, you know, I am very proud of you and your service here, and I know that you serve with distinction throughout, and I like the suggestion we got about doing a resolution, because I think that's something we could definitely do, and we'll definitely be considering bringing that back to council. But I just have tremendous respect for you, Chief, and I am sorry this has happened.
Thank you.
Councilman Wingate, hold on.
Chief Glover, I've worked with you quite a bit on this fire department issue, and I'll get into it a little bit later. When I first got into the office, I asked the mayor if he was going to promote you to chief since you were the best qualified person. And he wouldn't give me an answer, but Colleen Castile was the city administrator at that time, and she said that you wouldn't be able to get the job because you had filed EEO complaints in the past, which I thought was retaliation, you know, from that level. And that's something that's continuing to go on, and I'll get into it a little bit more. But I thank you for your service, and I don't have on a red armband, but I still support you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, hold on. Councilman Wu.
As you know, we've been cautioned what to say or not to say, but I don't think anything would prevent us from thanking you for your many years of service.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Oh, hold on. Got one more. Vice President Spencer.
Thank you. Chief Glover, I want you to know I have never doubted your dedication or valor. I have not had the privilege to get to know you as well as certainly some of the other members and longtime employees of the city, but I know I've I've never experienced a fire personally, but the closest I've come to being able to receive and absorb the magnitude of the protection of first responders was when I was running in Boston at the marathon the day of the bombing, and I saw your colleagues do tremendous work under unthinkable pressure. So again, I want to let you know that as I sit here tonight with council, I'm certainly not challenging your dedication, and so thank you very much. And now, at the risk of sounding like I'm an opportunist, but the Chief Glover brought up his mother, and I have to be perfectly honest. Tonight, or today, is my mother's birthday. If I announce publicly her age, I think she would never forgive me. But I can say it's just shy of 90. As you know, she lost her husband and her son this year, and I made a promise I was going to be picking her up about 15 minutes ago. But I do need to leave, but most importantly, I will review the rest of the meeting, and I wanted to hear public input, and I'll review the rest of the meeting. I'd support a resolution when that, and if that is brought forward. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilwoman Canaway.
Yes, I really appreciate the public input, and I've written my comments down. I do want to, Chief and I have talked about quite a few things, especially recruiting of minority firefighters. That's something that was very dear to me. It was very dear to you as well. And we've talked about how we can make that happen for the city of Pensacola. And yes, I was disappointed in his firing. I've always found him to be trustworthy. I trust my life with him. And I really appreciate his service. So I do have some comments that I want to make, but I want to let him know that I do trust you. It's not a question of your judgment as a firefighter, your expertise for me. And so I just want to let you know that.
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you. Matt Schmidt. Yes.
Mr. President, how many more cards? Because
Three.
I will have to go as well.
Okay,
And
three.
so I do want the people to know what my issues are, and as well as I wanted to hear some of the issues from the council about, because that would kind of posture me and I feel the council where we needed to go. So I was hoping at least to hear some of that as well. So
Okay.
I'm running short.
Okay. Well, can we hear from Chief Schmidt? Welcome.
Good evening. I'm going to curtail my remarks. I've lost my voice. But I wanted to thank you, Council President Bear, and every member of this dais for coming out tonight, having this meeting, and allowing these fine people out here to speak. My name is Matt Schmidt. I reside at 3103 Bayview Way, 35-year city resident. I am one of the affected individuals. Joe Glover is a fine, upstanding man. I've enjoyed working with him all the years I have worked with him. I concur with his thoughts on we have to take the lead to make sure that there is a process for the rest of the city employees that are not covered under a collective bargaining agreement. There has to be a process that they can rebuke or rebut any charges brought against them. And it has to be ironclad, and it has to be available to them since civil service went away. There has to be a process for those people. And everybody should have his quote day in court. As it stands right now, the exempt employees do not have that within the city of Pensacola. And again, thank you so much for allowing these folks to speak and setting this special meeting and showing them. Thank you.
Chief, I have a question. I know Councilwoman Myers wants to say something. Was a performance appraisal ever done on you since the new form of government took place?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay. Right. You were never involved in the process of a performance review?
Of myself?
Right, of yourself.
No.
But you reviewed those, like Chief Glover, did you do performance appraisals of him?
Yes, after civil service went away, we developed a fire department in-house. Chief Glover developed a fire department in-house evaluation process.
Okay.
Where we evaluated all employees annually, and we also did biannual performance testing or evaluations, and all of that was done internally to the fire department, yes.
Okay.
So I participated in that, of course.
Okay. Councilwoman Myers.
Yes, I would like to thank you for all of the years of service you have provided to the citizens of Pensacola. I'm very sorry about what has happened. I have, for years, enjoyed a very cordial relationship with you, and I just want you to know that I'm very sorry, and I just want to thank you for everything that you've done, and wish you well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Chief, I just add that, I've stood in your living room before when I was campaigning, and, you have always been open to me, and I know that we couldn't talk much because of the limitations that the mayor has placed on council for being able to talk issues, but you've always been responsive to me, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate your service, the many years of service you've had here in the city of Pensacola. I can't say that, after reading all of these documents, I can't say I always agree with you on every personnel decision, but I respect your ability as a director of a department to make your decisions as the head of that department. So, and, you know, I think that's kind of the thing when you talk about, you need to have evaluations, and I think you should have been evaluated. And I think that if there was some issue with hiring or something, there should have been more interface with HR at some point. But I think that was not, I think you did what you thought was right, and I think your military background too, I'm also, I appreciate that, appreciate your service there. And as you know, in military, we get evaluation reports every year, and sometimes I wrote my own, but somebody had to sign it. So, you know, there is a form for doing that. So, and I'm glad you all set something up in the fire department to do that. So, Councilman Wu.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Again, because of the limitation that they put on us, I'm just going to simply say thank you, Chief, for your many years of service.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. I hope you get your voice back.